Hi, and welcome to the Tali Loz podcast. And this is the very last episode of the year 2021. And I'm going to spend this time with Jeff. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hi, Laura. Hi, I'm very good. Thank you so much. I cannot
Mm,
believe that we're closing this year already.
I know. It's gone really, really fast. Oh, yeah. What kind of year was it? I think it was all over the place.
That's exactly what I just wanted to say. On one hand, it went fast, but on the other hand, I think all of us are a little overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. To say the least, yes.
But that's exactly good that we're closing the year with the Capricorn season.
And why is that? What kind of energy is Capricorn season?
So the Capricorn season starts on the 21st of December, and that's exactly the day of the winter solstice. So
Mm,
it's the time when the day is the shortest and the night is the longest. And it's also, well, why winter solstices are so powerful is because there is a lot of energy which enhances our intuition. So
uh-huh.
just to keep in mind that take some time on this day to listen to what your intuition is saying, to what kind of messages are coming through, or symbols or synchronicities, anything that can be super, super powerful.
Mm,
But coming back to the Capricorn season and the energy, well, actually, it's really great to, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn rules time and form and shape and structure and tradition. So a lot of things which can really put us together in some way,
mm-hmm.
to help us to also take a look back and see how far we've come, how much we've done this year, and also to kind of put everything on the shelves, meaning a little bit like to do a sort of a review. I
Mm-hmm.
need this, I don't need this, I will take this into a new year, I won't take this into a new year. So become a little bit more structured, become a little bit more long-term oriented, because
Mm-hmm.
we'll if you think we can already jump into the healthy expressions of Capricorn, I can say that the Capricorn, as I said, it rules time, form, shape, and structure. So for people who have a lot of Capricorn energy, it's really kind of easy to create shape out of something, create structure out of something. And I believe it's also a good time for all of us to go through this time and to understand some things from like perspective of structure, why something happened, why something didn't happen, right? Then Capricorn is also about authority and maturity. It represents the father figure, and it basically shows how we show up in the world, how we show up, what is our social role, what is our career, what is our reputation. So all of those things and how we present ourselves out there, which is obviously quite important, right?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
It also is about duty and responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
also about integrity. So you see quite mature ways of being, right? When people actually take responsibility for themselves, for the way they treat work, people, family, but most importantly, themselves. Their own
Mm.
feelings, their own emotions, their own patterns, their own ways of reacting to something. So it's really about responsibility and integrity. And that's why Capricorn rules business structures, hierarchical structures, corporate world, politics. And that's exactly the places where we need a lot of responsibility and a lot of integrity, right?
Yes. Yes.
And the last one for Capricorn is that this energy gives us the feeling and sense of discipline,
Mm-hmm.
because it's, as I said, it's about the long term. It's about the long term vision, but also about long term goals. The Capricorn energy typically gives us this tenacity to pick the right long term goals, but also to go for it. to really understand what it takes, how to make it happen, how to bring the form and structure, and how much time will it take. So long-term goals is exactly something that I think a lot of us will be reviewing at the end of this year.
Well, actually, to me, it makes, again, a lot of sense, as you usually do, because I was actually talking today with my friend, colleague, and I said, you know what, the first week of January, I feel like I need to sit down, and I hadn't read this, or what you said, I don't know, for the listeners there. And I said to her, I feel like in that week, I need to sit down. I need to really properly look at Tali and Loz for 2022 and my ideas, because I've got lots of ideas. I want to do things differently. I feel like more structure, especially the word structure, because this is obviously I just closed my first year of Tali Loz, and I was all over the place and need to try stuff, what works, what doesn't work. I've bought things that I shouldn't have been buying. I've bought things I should have bought more of. So it's a constant learning curve. And now I see this and I was like, this is Capricorn season. That's the first week of Jan is Capricorn. And that is what I need to do.
Perfect. Very
it's
perfect. It looks like you're very much aligned with the stars, with the moon, with the seasons,
yes.
with the sun. So everything that is coming up there.
They're coming up there, yeah. It's like I think now, like the last few weeks, my head is all over the place and I'm everywhere. And I've taken on too much freelance, and so that comes with this season now, definitely. But yeah, Capricorn, I'm looking forward to it because I need it.
I think many of us need it, and and actually it is even this time it will be enhanced. And I would like to share some astrological happenings so that you would understand why the Capricorn season this time is much more powerful than any other time. And basically the difference is that we have a Venus retrograde this year in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, so the Venus will station retrograde on the December 19th, and Venus is retrograding roughly once in 2 years. So the last Venus retrograde was back in May, June 2020. Okay. So right now Venus will start moving backwards, as we're saying. So her retrograde will be happening in the sign of Capricorn. All right. And so what does it mean? It means that, well, first of all, Venus rules a lot of good stuff, right? Venus rules beauty and love and relationships and money and finances and feminine energy and what we're attracted to and where do we spend our money. A lot of things which are very important in our lives. And so when it is in Capricorn, then all of those things are going through a really good review process, because whenever a planet goes retrograde, then we apply the verbs which start with reassess, reconsider, reprioritize, remember, revitalize. So look at it from a different perspective and change something, right?
Wow.
And so Venus will be retrograde in this sign of Capricorn, where Capricorn is not about pink eyeglasses, right? It's very practical, it's very down to earth, it's very organized, it's very long-term oriented. It's the boss, in the company who says, this is in, this is out, this is what we need to do, this is where we need to put more effort in, right? And so this will be a really key time for a lot of us, okay? Because Venus is already moving quite slowly, and it will spend time in Capricorn until basically beginning of March 2022. It's a lot of time. Exactly, it's a lot of time when Venus will be in the sign of Capricorn with the forward motion and then backward motion and then forward motion as well. So it's a lot of time. But then on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, on top of that, Venus is meeting with Pluto 3 times during this retrograde dance. Okay.
Wow.
Exactly. And Pluto, as we know, is the planet which rules evolution of the soul. It rules transformation and deep changes and restructuring. So imagine that it's on top of the whole review, there is even deeper restructuring of everything that we value, everything that we believe is worth our time, energy, attention, money, all of it. So I would say by the March 2022, all of us will be quite different people when it comes to how we look at love, how we look at money, how we look at resources, how we look at what we are ready to go for and what we still want to achieve and accomplish.
Wow. That sounds great, though. I'm really looking forward to it because I like those kind of sort of handles that you can give. And I'm the type, like, I keep that in my mind and I do think, okay, so that is a good week to do because Jeff said this is what's going to happen. That's why we love Jeff on a podcast. Because they have handles, right? They're handles for people to see what they expect. You know, if you know, there's a crazy monkey mind energy coming up, then we need to make sure that we don't do too much.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a good navigation system when
Yeah.
when you know when to slow down, when to go forward, when to use the time in the most beneficial way. And I think this restructuring is something that has been needed for a long time.
Long time. Oh yes.
And
definitely.
This is coming.
Yes, definitely. Oh, I'm really happy with this. Yeah, I feel I need it. Yeah, it's gonna be great though. And we've got some great crystals as well because we've put our zodiac sets together, didn't we? And I see in here definitely in our set that we have like autumn jasper, so it's rooting, grounding. It also works on your sacral chakra, ruby and zoyseed. Well, ruby obviously love. It also commits with the crown chakra. So it's like a set that goes all the way up and down. Clear chords, shungit against any negativity. I know you need that as well when you restructure because people might comment on what you want to restructure in your life. And you think, I'm going to do this differently. People might comment. So you need this protection of any of this negativity. And yeah, they're great. The zodiac sets are available on the website of Tali Loz. And Jeff did the astrology side of it, and I picked the crystals. So it's a really nice combination, and I think people love it. So that's a good one that we did together. Definitely. And let's move on to the unhealthy expressions of Capricorn.
Yes,
we need to know those as well.
Absolutely. To know how to navigate the season, because obviously the season gives this feel of the energy to all of us, whether we are Capricorns or not Capricorns, whether we have Capricorn, Sun, Pluto, or anything, any planets, we might feel it quite richly. And so unhealthy expressions or shadow sides of the Capricorn energy can be, first of all, that it can be too rigid. Okay, right. As we were talking that Saturn rules the time and form and shape, it's all about kind of very, basically walls, right? And so we need to make sure that the walls didn't become too rigid, that the structure didn't become too rigid. And I think we were just talking with you about restructuring, and that's exactly needed when something became too rigid or became too inflexible or became maybe too, outdated, old-fashioned, anything that needs a fresh air, anything that needs a fresh approach. So take a look at the areas of your life or your own behaviors or thinking processes where you might be too rigid, too inflexible, maybe too judgmental, maybe having too high expectations towards yourselves and especially others, right? And since Capricorn is about authority, also it's worth looking at where can we be too authoritative? Where do we want to express too much authority, especially when it comes to the lives of other people? Right. Family, close ones, children, employees, whoever it might be. Okay. So that is important. Then the energy of Capricorn can also be somewhat conservative, holding on to the past and thinking that the past is much better than the present and the future. So holding on to the past and not welcoming or trusting anything new. So that is also the shadow side of Capricorn. And this is where the restructuring is also very much needed, to take a really honest look at what parts of ourselves or what areas of our lives are stuck in the past. Where can we let go? Where can we say, okay, I don't know what the future holds, but I'm ready to risk. I'm ready to open up. I'm ready to, greet something that is not within my experience and which is not based on a tradition. Okay.
Right. Yes. So it goes very deep. You have to trust yourself and the future and the universe, basically, with this.
Which is not a part of Capricorn energy. This is a part of Pisces, for example. Pisces is all about trust and faith and surrender and going with the flow. Capricorn is not that. It's about the time and structure and show me what you have. And if I don't see it, it doesn't exist, right? So this is exactly why we are so complex beings, that we have a lot of different energies, and we can, see how we use that wonderful mix that we are.
Right.
And here we're coming to a very important part of the shadow side or shadow energy of Capricorn, is that Capricorn can see emotion as a liability, as a weakness. Right? Because Capricorn is all about, very kind of concrete things. The walls, the time, the structure, the responsibility, the reputation, career, and so on. And so emotion can be seen as something that is not needed, or even can hinder someone to build a career, or to go forward and achieve the long-term goals, and so on. So this is again something that we need to always remind ourselves, that although emotions are not that popular in our society, it's a fundamental part of us. It's the foundation.
Yeah, right? Definitely. I think definitely emotions, even in business, it seems, coming from retail, that if companies just are very businessy and don't consider emotions of the people that do work on the shop floor, that deal with the customers, they get seen as so cold, and people don't like working for them. And then it can hurt the business. And then you have companies that are more personable and approachable, and those companies do much better.
True.
It's emotions, they get appreciated, they get listened to. So yeah, I see that. Yeah, definitely.
I think we can really follow it in the business world and see that those managers who have a very strong emotional intelligence, they're much more successful than the best professionals. Who are, as you were saying, very cold and authoritative and controlling and micromanaging and so on. So this is why it's a shadow energy of Capricorn, right? It's something which might be out of the consciousness or conscious understanding of a person. So this is why I'm mentioning it, that emotions are important.
Yeah.
And just to finish off with the Capricorn shadow side, is that because we're talking about the authority, the shadow side can also be something like depression or sense of guilt, because when someone is taking too much responsibility, too much on their shoulders, and then, setting very high expectations on ourselves, then if we're not able to come through with our expectations and, responsibilities, then we can feel guilty. We can feel depressed. We can feel that everything is futile and I cannot, get myself together. So a little bit easier on oneself, a little bit more understanding.
A bit more softer towards yourself as well.
Exactly.
Yes, need some loving crystals for that one. And don't feel guilty about having emotions when you do restructuring, right?
That as well, that as well. And what kind
Yes.
of crystals will help to soften our rigid Capricorn?
Oh, I see two things. Grounding ones as well. Just, come to earth and deal with people as well. So like Mookaite, Autumn Jasper, Pixie Jasper, all the Jaspers are usually quite earthy vibrations. And I think for like self-love, the rose quartz is always good. Rose quartz is always a beautiful self-love crystal. Don't feel guilty, care about yourself. Lemurian seeds, although they're quite strong vibrations, it's more for people that have already using crystals as well. Yeah, and just the softer ones I would go for
I would
in
agree for
general.
the rose quartz a lot, a lot, a
Yeah,
lot, a lot. Because
rose quartz, beautiful.
the opposite sign of Capricorn is Cancer, and that's exactly what Capricorns are learning in this lifetime: how to become more like Cancers, how
More
to
like
get
Cancer.
inspired
Ah,
by them, and to be more connected to with their emotional side. So rose quartz, I totally agree with you, Laura.
yes, rose quartz. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. I
And the
needed.
upcoming full moon and the new moon should
Yes.
also help us with that,
Oh.
because we have the full moon in Gemini on December
Mm-hmm.
19 in 27 degrees of Gemini. And without going too deep into the aspect, I would say that Gemini is typically around the following themes. It can be about thinking, about communication, about our logical mind, and about choices. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it looks to me that since it's a full moon in Gemini and we're closing 1.5 year cycle when the North Node was and still is by the until the end of this year in Gemini, this full moon will bring us, let's say, the awareness of how are we graduating from this 1.5 year cycle. Have we learned to think about things differently? Have we learned to speak with mindfulness? Have we learned to share our opinions or reactions in a way that is not hurting other people? And also, what kind of choice are we taking whenever we are in the situations which require some open communication? So that looks like that to me. And then the new moon in Capricorn on January 2nd in 2 degrees of Capricorn, I think for me, it's the perfect time for taking some, new promises, so to say, to yourself,
Yeah.
What would you like to achieve in 2022? What would you like to change? How would you like to show up? What do you think is worthy of your time and attention? How do you want to show up with the personal responsibility and personal integrity? So a lot of those beautiful things to start off the year.
The year. Wow, that sounds amazing. I have a feeling that 2022 is going to be a bit less crazy.
I have just finished the forecast, the Astrology Forecast 2022, and crazy. I would say it's hard to speak about the level of craziness, but that it will be very inspirational. That's for sure.
Okay, well, that's what I need as well. Inspiration. Get going with stuff that we're doing because we all love it. We've got beautiful community. And definitely, yeah. Are you talking about inspiration, Jeff? Do you have any more courses that you're going to do that people can sign up for next year?
I'm running the course right now. I think I will. To be frank, I have not yet finished my website, which I already feel guilty about, even before the Capricorn season started. So I really will dedicate January to finally finish my website and then to start adding the information on the soul growth course. Definitely, I'm offering the video around the Astrology Forecast 2022. It's a 45 minutes video with a lot of different details around what we're going through, how to work with it, when to accelerate, when to slow down, what to take into account. And then I'm also thinking about the new course around the moon. The moon phases, the moon aspects, how to work with the moon, what to expect, how to actually live your life in line with the cosmic
with the
flows.
moon. Yes, like proper moon living, our lunar living. Oh yeah, that's my kind of thing. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
oh, and my crystals love the moon. Yes. So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely. Well, as always, I put your details in the description. So Jeff, this is the end of this season of the Tali Loz podcast. And then obviously I'll definitely see you in 2022 again. We can talk more about your website when it's finished, about the courses that are coming that you just mentioned. And we're going to continue with our monthly meetings of the beautiful energies. And obviously Aquarius is next. And we love Aquarius because they're different. They're independent. They have live in their own world, and they're great people. So I'm looking
what a wonderful way to close the year.
Isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. I think it was a really nice way to take a look at every season and see how it's enhancing our life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to start the 2022, see how we're all collectively inspired, and to support the Talent Loss community. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Jeff, as always. And find the details in the description. Please contact Jeff. She also does readings for everyone. And you should definitely get one because it will change your life. If you're not sure about the evolutionary astrology, what it is, I refer you to our very first episode of the season 1, because Jeff will explain everything about evolutionary astrology, which I always struggle to pronounce. But there you go. I wish everybody a beautiful Christmas and Happy New Year. And I see you next year. Bye, Jeff.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.